Hey guys, what's going on? It's Kodiak here, and 7.1.5 dropped today, and I've got to tell you, I'm a little bit in shock. My system is a little rattled, and I don't want this to be a video about doom and gloom. I don't want this to be a video about how 7.1.5 is the worst patch ever because it's been less than 24 hours since it's been out. But I do want this to be a reaction to the raid environment, how 7.1.5 is setting up the raid team. And looking at our logs for the day, for the night, we did a full clear of Mythic Emerald Nightmare, and I have to say there were changes, obviously, but there weren't a lot of changes in the way that our team was stacked up. We didn't really change our comp. We actually carried. We sold a run through Emerald Nightmare, so we got somebody to really carry along, and that was fine and all well and good. But there were some glaring issues, and the glaring issues, unfortunately, arrived mainly from my class, and they also arrive from classes that we've known have had issues. Some of the big surprises for the night was Demon Sang, our Demon Hunter, jumping to the top. A lot of changes that he thought were going to be negative, shifting to positive changes. So Demon Hunter changes so far seem to be really good. The resource regeneration is really great, and his damage tonight was great. He's got flexibility in his builds between single target, multi-target, AoE. It's a great change to the Demon Hunter, who has really been suffering in patch 7.0.3. So hopefully the Demon Hunter is going to continue to improve in patch 7.1.5. Now let's talk about the glaring issue, which is the Hunter. Now the Hunter was a completely rework. The main talent builds that we had been used to were totally flipped on their heads. So we adapted, myself and Waking Demons, the other hunter in our guild, Exiled Power, worked all day to basically figure out what was going to be the best situation for the raid team when we got there later that night. And what we found was that the hunter is a really, really terrible class right now. I hate to say it, I mean it is, but like I said, it's been less than 24 hours, things are going to change. But in a raid environment, you have a class that's standing there in a window of 7 seconds where it really is detrimental to move. So you have a class going back to very old school design, 3-4 buttons of design with a little bit of mechanic interplay, and you're a turret. And turret classes feel very old. They feel very vanilla. They feel very clunky, I guess you can say. Very clunky, and that's nothing like a class like the Windwalker Monk, which feels very fluid, where the moves connect together. Let me just paint you a picture. If you're not playing a hunter right now, let me just paint you a picture of how it goes. So you open up with a single target spell, a Murder of Crows. You cast your artifact ability, Wind Burst, you arcane shot once, and then basically you're stuck into 3 aim shots within a 7-second window. And that's the rotation. That's it. There's very little else other than mark shot and opening up that vulnerable window again. But don't worry about that. You're not, if you're not playing a hunter, don't worry about it. But I just want to point out that the hunter is one of those classes right now that you can put everything into it and you will still be 200 300k DPS under a class like the Boomkin, like the Shadow Priest. And look, I love Public. You guys, most of you are here. If you're watching this video, you've probably come because you've seen a video of Public. He is one of the best raiders that I've ever met, and he's one of the best thinkers that I've ever met. He knows how to play a class, he knows how to read a situation. But when a class is doing that much more damage, you really have to take a look at it. And the devs really need to take a look at balance, right? This whole patch was based around balance. And the reason I bring that up is because we're a week away from the first major tier of raiding. And I know I sound like a broken record. If you watched my video with Public the other day on doom and gloom, kind of 7.1.5, is it going to ruin the raiding community? I have to admit to you guys, after raiding tonight, I was pissed. I'm like, I've got this clunky class, rough around the edges, and I'm barely pulling my weight. I think most guilds would have dropped me after the first, second, third, or fourth boss and said, look, man, we can't bring you to these tougher bosses. You're just not pulling your weight. And look, there's things that I could say, there's excuses I can make. I'm sure I'm not playing it 100% because nobody's playing it 100%. No one is playing their class 100%, right? It's the first day of raiding. There's still things to be figured out about each of the class changes. But what I'm saying is that there's a serious, serious issue looking at these classes, figuring out how to make them fun and how to make them efficient. Fun should always be the center of the game, right? You guys come to this channel, you come to this game because you want to learn something new, you want to have a good time. And to me, After that one night of raiding the 7.1.5 patch, I did not have fun. And that's where it comes back to, okay, I need to take a serious look. Is the hunter the class that I want to play? Is marksman the spec I want to play? And I think that's the same for pretty much everybody. If you're in a class that has a lot of specs, and you're stuck between, fire and frost, and say you're stuck between, oh, I don't know, affliction and demonology or destruction, you're not alone. You're not alone, and the community hopefully will respond to the issues that are rising. Now, what I want to tell all the raid leaders out there and anybody that's in a competitive guild, a progressive guild, really dig into the logs this week. Really be patient and dig into the logs, see what things are going well and see what things aren't going well. And try to cater your team to really key in on those opportunities, because we have 1 week, like I've said multiple times, we have 1 week to nail this thing down, right? That's not a lot of time. So we have 1 week to nail this all down, and by using the logs, using the resources available to us, we're going to be putting ourselves in the best position to succeed. And that's the key. As a guild, as a raid team, you want to put your team in the position to succeed. And sometimes it's really challenging, especially if you're focused on yourself and your own abilities. Use the resources, use the logs, use video replay, use SimCraft once it gets updated, and just use your feel. I don't want to be one of those feely craft guys. And I know some of you may be here and you're like, I don't need the Sims. I don't need, people to tell me. I'll feel it out. And that's great. If that's how you want to play, that's totally fine. But I will tell you, the numbers support the way that the top players play the game, right? I do not consider myself to be a top player. I'm surrounded by a lot of top players, and that's enough for me. I'm really happy about that. But you're really going to have to dig into your characters, and that's the message I want to give you guys today. Dig into your characters, figure out where the changes are and how you need to adapt your play style to be an effective raider. Right? 7.1.5 is going to be a major shakeup to the raiding community, and you guys as individuals and as teams need to help each other out. Use the resources available. Talk to each other. Waking and myself, the other hunter I mentioned before, we've been talking all day, and actually we've been talking to one of our other former hunters in the guild, Rinny, trying to figure out exactly how to maximize our potential in a raid environment. And that's my best advice for you guys. Look up all of the resources that you possibly can, work together to accomplish those goals, and just be patient. Just be patient. This is not the end-all be-all. This is not the last time you're going to see a major shakeup. And this is not the end of patch 7.1.5. It's day 1, hour 20, whatever, and things are going to change. And we have to be patient. We have to be fluid. But I do, end of video statement here, I want to know how your raids went. If you're comfortable sharing your logs with us, please feel free to do that in the comments below. I want to hear all about your experiences in a raid environment tonight or tomorrow. I really want to know how your raids went, because that's going to help me and help our team in the future move forward, looking at your logs, reading and working together. That's the key to a new patch, is working together and figuring out what works and what doesn't. So leave us a comment below with your raid experience in the first week of patch 7.1.5. If it's your first time to the channel, welcome. My name is Kodiak. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We have so much more content coming for you guys in patch 7.1.5. We'll be working through all of the classes as best as we can. Lots of content coming for the Nighthold raid, both on normal, heroic, and eventually mythic content. Lots of stuff coming, guys. So stick with us. My name is Kodiak. We'll see you next time for another Exile Power video. Take care.